And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again. The Pain podcast, Monday, December 9th, 2024. The Joe Benigno, The Pain podcast, brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company. You need a discount tire. By Manscaped and cardwinners.net. Christmas has come a couple weeks early for us Met fans. Say it is so. Juan Soto, a New York Met. Are you kidding me? Come on. 15 years, $765 million. God bless Uncle Stevie Cohen. That's all I can say. God bless Uncle Stevie. He got the job done. Soto's a Met. This is a watershed day in the history of our beloved baseball team. There's no other way to say it. This is the greatest free agent signing they've ever had. Okay, we could talk about Carlos Beltran. We could talk about the trade for Piazza. This is probably, I don't even think it's probably, 26-year-old superstar. Guys won a championship in Washington, went to the World Series with the Yankees last year. And to take him away from the team in the Bronx, it's just a tremendous and stunning development if you're a fan of the New York Mets. I mean, we basically now have what I consider the third best player in baseball behind Ohtani and Judge, and he's on the New York Mets, and he's only 26 years old. Unbelievable. I woke up this morning still feeling the pain of yet another horrific Jet loss as they blew another one to the hated Dolphins yesterday, and we'll get to that. We'll get to all the football. And I put on Sports Night, and I see the news that Soto's a Met. I had multiple texts from every possible place. My good buddy Kenny Scarabaggio, my good buddy Richie Aubrey, all the great Met fans that checked in. My buddy Steve, who's actually a Dodger fan, congratulating me and all of that. I mean, Tommy Keenan, all the way down the line. So I am pumped up today for the Mets. It really took the signing of Soto takes the sting away from the yet another horrific Jet loss. A couple things with this Soto thing. First of all, I thought all along he'd stay with the Yankees. I felt that Hal Steinbrenner could not allow this to happen. But I saw it was very close to money. Apparently, the Yankees gave him 16 years and $760 million. So they gave him one more year and $5 million less. But he went to the Mets. Look, here's the difference as far as I'm concerned. I understand the Yankees are the most storied franchise in the history of professional sports, anywhere in the world. I mean, I don't even think it's debatable. They've won 27 championships. We all know about them. They're the most famous sports franchise in sports history. There's no question about it, right? And they've been the kings of the hill in New York forever, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. When they went to the World Series last year, all of that. But if you win a championship with the Yankees, you're just another guy. You're never going to be the great. If you're Juan Soto, as great a player as you are, you will never be the greatest player in the history of the Yankee franchise. There's just too many. There's Babe Ruth. There's Lou Gehrig. There's DiMaggio. There's Mantle. There's Berra. There's Jeter. There's Reggie. We go right on down the line. You will never be. There's Judge. You will never be the greatest player in the history of the franchise. Juan Soto, when he signs, all right, and he hasn't played a game yet for the Mets, so I don't want to put him in that category yet because he hasn't played for our team yet. But the chances are that he will go down as the greatest Met of all time. And that's something he could never be as a Yankee. Never. And if he wins a championship here with us, with our team that has not won in 38 years, if he wins a championship with the Mets, and we're close. I mean, we went to the NLCS last year, If he wins a championship with the Mets, Soto forget it. I mean, the statue will be next to Seaver. So I am just, you're a Met fan. You got to be thrilled today. I mean, it's unbelievable. I did not expect this. Like I said, I thought he'd stay with the Yankees. And how sweet it is that Juan Soto is a member of the New York Mets. Now, there's a lot of work yet to be done. I mean, I don't love the pitchers they've signed. I don't like Frankie Montas. I think he's terrible. I would understand the signing of Clay Holmes if you're telling me Clay Holmes is going to be the setup man to Diaz. I get that. I don't get the signing of Clay Holmes as a starter, but okay. But now you got to bring Sean Manaea back. They lost Severino to Oakland. You got to bring Sean Manaea back, no doubt. And now we got to sign Pete. I mean, to me, there's no reason that with Uncle Stevie's all his wonderful money now that we can't sign Pete Alonso as well. And the market for Pete is probably not going to be as big a deal as maybe we thought it would have been last year. He had kind of a down year. He still hit 34 homers and drove in 88 runs. As I continue to finish off the remnants of COVID, even though I feel a lot better. But nevertheless, he still hit 34 homers and drove in 88 runs last year. And obviously the biggest hit of the year was the home run in Milwaukee in the ninth inning that, got us out of that series and, propelled us to get to the NLCS. So I want Pete Alonso back. I think every Met fan does. And let's go. I mean, we have a chance. Look at the lineup. I mean, you bring Alonso back. You got Soto. You got Alonso. You got Lindor. You got Vientos. You got the kid Alvarez, that hopefully is going to, get better now going into his third year. He had a little bit of a down year last year to catch you, right? I mean, we got some guys on this team. That's not a bad lineup. I mean, really lengthen that lineup when you put a guy like that in there. You got Brandon Nimmo. To me, it's unbelievable that they have signed Soto. Now they got to get the pitching straightened out. To me, you got to bring Alonso back. But if you're a Met fan today, you are thrilled. And we have, and I think the best part of it all is we took them away from the Yankees. For the first time in a million years, and this has been a Yankee town, maybe in the 80s, the Mets took over for a while with our team in the 80s. Maybe. And we should have won more than one championship. We all know that. We don't want to get into all of that now. But that's one of the most, we love that team. We're Met fans. I mean, that's my all-time favorite team. The 86 Mets. I mean, they were, Darryl and Doc and Darling. And we go right out down the line. And Carter and Hernandez and everybody. Oh, my God, how great. And now, 38 years later, we got a chance to win it. Right now, like I said, Juan Soto to me is the third best player in baseball behind Ohtani and Judge, and we have him. And we took him from the Yankees. And now we have a chance to change the balance of power in New York, or at least level the playing field to be right there with the Yankees. It is a tremendous day if you are a fan of the New York Mets. Juan Soto is here. We want to thank Uncle Stevie. He got it done. God bless Uncle Stevie Cohen. I wish he owned the Jets. He doesn't, unfortunately, but I wish he did. But a great day. And it really kind of, tempered the pain of just another horrific New York Jet loss. Tremendous. Juan Soto, a New York Met. Give him number 22. Let's go. Can't wait for opening day. Still, like I said, a lot of work to do. Got to straighten his pitching staff out, get Manaea back, bring Alonso back, maybe add one more bat, another guy, you can bring in here. I mean, first of all, the rotation. I'm all for signing Walker Buehler. If you want to bring him in, I like him. But right now, they got to straighten out the rotation. To me, the two guys they need to sign are Sean Manaea and Pete Alonso. To me, that's the next thing that needs to be done now by David Stearns and Uncle Stevie Cohen. But a early Christmas for all us Met fans, as Juan Soto, unbelievably, is a New York Met. 15 years, $765 million. Dinner is on you, Juan. All right. From the good, we go to the bad and the ugly, as I take a little of the wonderful chock full of nuts coffee here. Just another brutal loss for the Jets. I mean, do you realize, and yesterday's, I mean, it is unbelievable. Think about this, Jet fans, okay? We're 3-10, okay? It's been a terrible year. This team has had more brutal losses in this season than I have ever seen as a Jet fan. And that's saying a lot. Do you realize, people don't, all the media wants to talk about is running Aaron Rodgers out of town. That's really all the media wants to do. They don't like Rodgers, the nonsense that he was going to get benched after the Denver game. For weeks now, all we've heard, well, are they going to bench him? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to do bullshit? Aaron Rodgers had a phenomenal game yesterday, okay? Phenomenal game. First time in, I think it's since 2018 with the Packers. That's a long time ago. That he threw for over 300 yards. Like he had about 340 yards passing yesterday, whatever it was. Both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson went over 100 yards. This was a game the Jets, and we've said this all year, should have won. Do you realize, Jet fans, how many times they've lost 10 games? Of the 10 games, 6 of the 10 games, the Jets have had the lead in the fourth quarter and lost the game. 6. The Bronco game, the Patriot game in Foxborough, the Buffalo game at home on Monday night, and the last 3 games. The Colt game, the Seahawk game, and this game. 3 straight games. They had the lead in the fourth quarter, and the defense blew the game. That's it. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to get on Ryan. Well, Rodgers has had 5 times this year where he, had a chance to win the game in the end and didn't do it. Well, how about the defense not giving up the goddamn game? And they did it again yesterday. And again, when you consider that this team has no head coach, because Jeff Ulbrich has no idea what he's doing as a head coach, right? And that this team continues to be in every freaking game. And all they want to do is blame Rodgers. This defense stinks. They stink. Let's go right to the end of the game here, right? The Jets are driving. First of all, they were up 23-15 in this game. Let's not forget it. 23-15. They actually had stopped the Dolphins on 2 straight possessions and then watched Miami go right down the goddamn field for a touchdown, aided by penalties du jour, okay? And I'm tired of DJ Reed, who had 2 pass interference penalties yesterday. The only 2 guys on defense that showed up and played yesterday, in my mind, Sherwood, who was all over the field at linebacker, Jamie and Sherwood. And the other guy was Brandon Eccles. Gardner didn't play. Brandon Eccles was all over. It was tremendous in this game yesterday. Those are the only 2 guys on defense that played any good yesterday. The defensive line stinks. Tua Tagovailoa had days to throw the ball. They didn't even touch him in the entire game. I'm sick of hearing about Will McDonald. He has the most overrated 10 sacks you'll ever see. You're going to tell me this guy's an impact player? Because he's not. The only thing Quinnen Williams did yesterday was have a major roughing the passer penalty, which was bogus, but they called it on him. Hassan Reddick actually did make a play on a 3rd down stop behind the line of scrimmage that forced the Dolphins to kick a field goal, which I couldn't believe because it was 4th and 1. I thought McDaniel would go for it. He didn't. But nevertheless, outside of that, Reddick wasn't near Tua all day long. The defense stinks. It stinks. There's no other way to say it. And the defense has cost them 6 games this year. Everybody wants to talk about freaking Rodgers. And obviously the kicking game, Zerline, obviously, the Denver game, the Patriot game, the Buffalo game, missing big field goals, missing extra points. This kid Carlson yesterday, I wish we had him all year. He made 4 freaking field goals, including what should have been the game winner at the end with 50 seconds left in the game. But, of course, the Jets find new and inventive ways to blow it. First of all, Davante Adams should not have won, as great as he is, and Davante Adams has to come back. You tell me a team in the NFL right now that's got a better 1-2 punch at wide receiver than Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson. By the way, Garrett Wilson abused Jalen Ramsey yesterday. Abused him. You want to give me Cooper Kupp and Pua Nakua in with the Rams? Okay, maybe I'll give you those guys. That's about it. Wilson and Adams are tremendous. Adams has got to come back. This guy's a Hall of Fame receiver. Another tremendous game yesterday, but he should not have went out of bounds on that pass from Rodgers that set up, the field goal for Carlson, because Miami had no timeout. Okay, but he goes out of bounds. Carlson kicks the field goal with 52 seconds left, whatever, and the Jets are up by 3, 26-23. And then the special teams kills them. Carlson doesn't kick the ball into the end zone, out of the end zone, and they get a return almost out to midfield. And when that happened, you knew right then and there, even though the Dolphins had no timeouts, you knew right then and there that Miami was at least tying the game and sending it into overtime. And, of course, they did. Sanders makes a 50-something yard. We knew he was making a kick. There's no way he wasn't making it. And that ties the game. And then when they got into the overtime and Miami won the toss, I'm like, we're not getting the ball. You knew it. You know the defense was going to give it up. And all of a sudden, Jonnu Smith, who hadn't caught a pass the whole game, catches like 3 passes, including the game winner, and Miami walks right down the field to win the game. 6 times this year that the defense has blown leads in the fourth quarter. Think about that. And nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about how shitty the defense is because they stink. They stink. They play this stupid zone defense when they should be playing man-to-man. And I know Sauce didn't play yesterday. They play this stupid zone defense when they should be playing man. They never blitz. They might have blitzed Chuck Clark a couple times from safety yesterday. Got nowhere near Tua. They never freaking blitz. You know, they think, Ulbrich and company think they got the Carl Eller, Alan Page, and Jim Marshall on the defensive line. L.C. Greenwood, Joe Green, and Ernie Holmes. They're not. No. I mean, it's a joke. But everybody only want to dump on is Rodgers. Let's dump on Rodgers. Let's dump on Rodgers. Let's dump on Rodgers. That's all they want to do. And he was phenomenal yesterday. And I'll tell you right now, and I don't know who the head coach of this team's going to be. All right? Going forward, I don't know who it's going to be. But I'll tell you right now, you got to think long and hard about bringing Rodgers back. I mean, let's be serious about it. I mean, he looked good yesterday. I mean, he was mobile. He didn't throw any picks. They had no turnovers in this game yesterday. And it was, it was like name it thrown to Maynard and Sauer with the game that Adams and Wilson had. And let me tell you this too, okay? Going forward, you got to pay Garrett Wilson. There's no question. He's one of the premier receivers in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. You got to pay him, okay? He's got to be here forever, long term. All right? You probably got to pay Sauce, even though he's had an off year. I think you get the right coaching in there with Sauce, and you could get him back to being, maybe the top corner in the game. It would be nice if he intercepted a pass every now and then, and could tackle people. But still, you probably got to pay Jermaine Johnson, who's been out all year with the injury. I'm not paying Breece Hall. A lot of people have talked about I'm not paying him, especially when I see the kind of game this kid Davis had. How about this Isaiah Davis? How good yesterday with Davis and Braylon Allen out of the backfield? They didn't miss Breece Hall at all. Both those guys were tremendous. Davis had that touchdown run. Allen had a real good game. He was running over people, caught a lot of passes. He did drop one early in the game, but caught a lot of passes in this game coming out of the backfield. I'm not paying Breece Hall. He can, forget it. There's no way. No way. Breece Hall's not had a good year. He's fumbled. He had a major fumble, obviously, last week in the loss against Seattle. He's fumbled like 5 times this year. He actually fumbled twice in the Seattle game. Vera Tucker saved him 1 time. And I'll tell you something else, too, about this team. All right? How about the offensive line? All of a sudden, the offensive line was good. I know they sacked Rodgers a couple times yesterday. How good was the offensive line? This kid Fassanu, they looked like they hit it with this kid at left tackle. You got 3 young guys on that offensive line with Fassanu, Tippmann at center, and Vera Tucker. That's pretty good. Even Max Mitchell came in yesterday for Morgan Moses, who was banged up, and he played good at right tackle yesterday. So this team is not as far away as the media would like you to think it is, okay? They got to obviously, they got to get a head coach. They got to get the GM. They got to get the head coach settled, right? That has to happen. That's a given. There's no doubt about it. That has to happen. Got to get that straightened out. And I am looking at this, and you've heard me say this about the head coach, that I want a head coach with experience. Rex Ryan's my number 1 guy. Brian Flores is number 2. I'd be good with Mike Vrabel, who I guess has expressed interest that he would he expressed interest in the Jet job. We'll say it that way. So I'm good with Vrabel. I'm good with John Gruden. But there's one coordinator who has never been a head coach, which I would consider, and he's the only one, and that's Aaron Glenn. And the only reason I consider it is because of the connection that he played with the Jets. So he has an idea what it's all about, what this franchise is all about. He's the only one, Aaron Glenn, that I would even freaking consider as a first-time coordinator to be the head coach of my football team. The only one. That's it. So this team is not as far away as you think. They need help on the defensive line. There's no doubt about it. They could use help at linebacker. Quincy Williams, who's been, really good for the Jets all year at linebacker. He was invisible yesterday. I don't know what he did. Did he make a tackle yesterday? I don't know. But this was just another game that they blew that they should have won. 6 times. Just remember this again. 3-10 right? Terrible year, eliminated from the playoffs again, another losing season, 9 straight losing seasons, 14 years out of the playoffs, all of that. 56 years without a Super Bowl appearance. This team is not as far away as you think. There's talent on this team. You straighten out that defensive line. You bring in somebody here that's going to play man-to-man defense and blitz. Get rid of this ridiculous zone defense that they constantly play, which I can't take. How many times yesterday did the Dolphins just hit these little quick passes, even on the game-winning touchdown drive in overtime to Smith, these little quick passes? McDonald actually tipped one of them. Then, of course, and Smith still caught it. But all day, these quick passes to Tyreek Hill, these quick passes to Jalen Waddle. That's all we saw all day. And obviously, as, mucus comes flying out of my mouth here, which is just lovely. But
you have a tissue?
I had a couple.
Now you don't?
I don't know. Let me see. I thought I brought one down, but it's so bad. Anyway, lovely. We apologize. We got it. I got it, all right. I got to bring something down here. Get like paper towel quick or something. All right, if you don't mind. As I get it all over me, man. I did, hon. I brought something down. It's destroyed. My wife is yelling at me because I didn't bring enough down. This has been. I've been suffering with this for a while. I really have, and I apologize to everybody that's sort of mucus flying out of my nose. What are you going to do? Maybe it'll be on, it'll be out there somewhere, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? But anyway, getting back to the Jets, this team is not that far away. You get a real head coach in here. Like I said, I think in the draft, I know we need a young quarterback. I get that, but maybe we will. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's still, the Giants lost again yesterday. How brutal was that? They're actually flying. You see where they actually flew a plane? It was like 1978 all over again. Mr. Mara, we can't take it anymore. The crap. The Giants yesterday, lose the game on a blocked field goal, 14-11 to the Saints at home. I mean, how bad is that? But whatever. When are we going to start flying planes over the freaking Meadowlands for our football team? Isn't it time that we did that? Send a message to Woody, but this team is not that far away. They're really not. There's talent on this team. And I'd run Rodgers back for another year because I'm telling you what's going to happen if they let Rodgers go. And again, I don't know what the new head coach is going to do, but I'll tell you what's going to happen if they let Rodgers go. You know what's going to happen? He's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to have a big year for them. You watch. That's what's going to happen. Why shouldn't he have it for our team? This team's got weapons. Like I said, Adams and Wilson, that's a tremendous 1-2 punch at wide receiver. Tremendous. This kid Davis, this kid Allen, the offensive line. They could use a tight end because they really don't have a tight end. Conklin's not any good. And this guy, what's his name? Ruckert, he can't catch a cold, this guy. I mean, it's unbelievable how bad he is. He dropped another pass yesterday. God forbid he ever catches one. And they got Lazard back yesterday, too. Lazard, he did have a couple penalties in the game, but he caught a big pass on what should have been the game-winning field goal drive at the end to give him a first down. They missed Lazard. They really did. Nobody talked about the Lazard injury that really hurt him a lot, that he missed all those games. That hurt the Jets. Nobody talks about that. All they want to talk about in the media is Rodgers. Get him out of here. The Jets stink. Typical Jets. When are they going to bench him for Tyrod Taylor? Give me a goddamn break. And I'm telling you right now, let's see who the coach is. When you look at the talent on his team, especially on offense, there's no reason they shouldn't run it back with him another year. And I know people don't, but I'm telling you, seriously, I'd take another shot on him. He looked pretty goddamn good yesterday, didn't he? Pretty goddamn good. And I'm telling you, to let him go, he's going to go somewhere just like Favre, right? And he'll be leading his team to the NFC Championship game or AFC Championship game, wherever he is. Watch. Just like Favre did in Minnesota. So we'll see what the coach is. We'll see. But, again, just another brutal loss for the Jets. And in a year where it's been one brutal loss after another. And remember, 6 times this year, 6, that they had the lead in the fourth quarter and blew the freaking game. And the defense blew the game. And they blew it again yesterday. Say whatever you want. The defense blew it. You knew the game was over. You knew when that guy returned that kick to the 50-yard line or 45-yard line that Miami was going to at least get a field goal. And you knew when Miami won the toss in overtime, they were winning the game. It was a given that the defense was not going to stop them, and they didn't. All right, Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast. Let me have a little more coffee. Hopefully no more mucus will fly out of my freaking nose. Let me have a little more here. Unbelievable. And I really haven't been sick. It's just that, I can't beat this like cold almost that I've had. It's just terrible. All right, let's get the sponsors in here. The Hackensack Brewing Company. Everybody knows the deal. Do not know when the next live podcast will be. But nevertheless, you can check them out. See Mike Jones, see TJ, located 10 minutes off the George Washington Bridge, less than 30 seconds off Route 4. And who needs a house out in Hackensack? The tap room's open 4:30 to 10 Monday through Friday, 2 to 10 Saturday, 12 to 8 Sunday, right behind the Tombstones. Check out my Oda Pain beer. Probably still in the jet. Maybe TJ will specially now put some of the Met Oda Pain beer out there in honor of the Juan Soto signing. Maybe he'll do that. Now TJ, a big Met fan as well. Maybe he will do that. We shall see. But go check them out. Still don't know when the next live podcast will be. We will keep you informed about that. The Hackensack Brewing Company. You need work done on your car? Go see my son Johnny. Go see his boss Ari. Saw those guys the other day. Doing well there at the Need a Discount Tire, Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. Anything. You need work on your car. You need tires. You need car inspected. Whatever it is, the place to go. Need a Discount Tire, Westwood Avenue. Beautiful. Rivervale, New Jersey, one of my favorite towns up here in wonderful Bergen County, New Jersey, which is actually getting a little better, but we won't get into that. Anyway, nevertheless, yes, I need a Discount Tire. Now, I've been telling you for a long time about Manscaped. You know I love Manscaped, the Beard and Balls bundle. Check it out. Got to try it. The Lawnmower 5.0 for the lower area to give you that illusion of extra inches. The Beard Hedger for the face to make you look all smooth. Maybe she wants to touch you and all that. I don't know. My wife wants to touch me, but nevertheless, sometimes I wonder if her sight is good. Anyway, the Beard Hedger. You got the Scalp Buster, right? That scalp buffer that takes care of your hair. You got the Manscaped shampoo and conditioner. By the way, I'm running low, Manscaped. I need some. Send me some, okay? Because I want to smell good. And the shampoo and conditioner for Manscaped does the job. You got the underwear. You got the T-shirts. You got the whole mishpucha. Come on. Tremendous. Manscaped, the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger, a trimmer for the moneymaker, another for the boys downstairs. I always thought downstairs was the moneymaker. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code ODAPAIN at manscaped.com. 20% off, free shipping, the code ODAPAIN, manscaped.com for the premium grooming experience. Trust Manscaped. Join the 11 million, and I make 11 million in one, all right, worldwide, who trust Manscaped for all their grooming needs. Get the Beard and Balls bundle today. It's a great Christmas present. Don't waste time. Get it done. Manscaped. And last but not least, my good buddy, Avi, and we appreciate, again, his business. Thank you, Avi, again. Are you in the hunt for the best credit card deals? Look no further than cardwinners.net. Whether you're searching for a personal credit card that suits your everyday needs, a business card to help manage your company's expenses, or a card that offers fantastic perks like airline points and cash back, we got you covered. Our site also features cards with promotional 0% APR and outstanding sign-up bonuses to help you get the most out of your spending. Explore my top picks. I went 2-2 yesterday. Yesterday I went 2-2. I have the Cowboys tonight at home against Cincinnati getting 6. So we'll see if we can have a winning week tonight, if Dallas can at least cover the number for me. So we'll see. Explore my top picks on cardwinners.net. And don't wait. Visit cardwinners.net today. Discover the best credit card deals available. Cards are subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Cardwinners.net. Before we leave, I got to bring up the college football playoff and how great this, and a lot of it has to do with how bad, the brutal year the Jets have given us this year in the NFL. But the college football season has been better than the NFL. And this 12-game playoff has been just unbelievable. They unveiled the brackets yesterday after we saw the conference championship games on Saturday. Obviously, the big upset, Clemson knocked off SMU, but both teams, SMU still got in. Alabama did not get in. And, if you watch the show yesterday on ESPN, Nick Saban was not happy about it. Alabama obviously played a much tougher schedule than SMU did. They had the quality wins were much better than SMU's quality wins. Nevertheless, SMU gets in, and Bama is the odd team out of the 12-team playoff. But if you didn't see this, here's how it played out. The teams with the 4 byes, right? Oregon number 1, Georgia number 2, Boise, and they gave Arizona State, even though Arizona State's only ranked 16th in the country. They blew out Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game. Arizona State got the 4th seed. So those 4 teams all get byes. Again, Oregon, Georgia, Boise, and Arizona State all get byes to the second round of the playoffs. The first round, which will be 2 weeks from Friday, 2 weeks from this past Friday, is all set, and we got some tremendous games. Now, remember, all these games are going to be on the campuses, right? And the big winner to me is Penn State, because Penn State, who I believe was the number 6 team, Penn State gets SMU at home, and then if they win that game in their bowl game, whatever it is, because the second round will be in the bowl game, will be in the bowls, they get SMU at home, Penn State, and then they get to play Boise. Really? Wow. So Penn State, really gets a big break. Now, Oregon, who was the number 1 team in the country, the only undefeated team left after they beat Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, which was a terrific game, Oregon has to play the winner of the Ohio State-Tennessee game in Columbus. And that's not, now they beat Ohio State already once this year by a point in Oregon. And Tennessee's no easy team. I mean, and it's really crazy. The SEC only got 3 teams here, but whatever. But so Oregon, number 1 team in the country, undefeated. They win. They get the bye to the second round. They got to play the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee. The game is in Columbus. That's going to be a tremendous game. The other 2 first-round games, Clemson, Dabo Swinney does it again as they kick that field goal at the end to knock off SMU and find their way. Nobody is more happy about finding their way into the playoffs than Clemson. They look dead in the water, but, they can tip their cap. They can thank the Syracuse Orangemen for knocking off Miami and then find, to get them into the conference championship game, and then they knock off SMU. So Clemson will go to Austin to play Texas in the first round. That's an interesting game. And the other first-round game is actually Friday night, an all-Indiana game. Indiana at Notre Dame, at South Bend to play Notre Dame. And that game's going to be Friday night, that game. And I don't know if Notre Dame always played Big Ten teams. They always played Michigan State. They always played Purdue. They, most of the time played Michigan. Occasionally they played Ohio State. I don't think they ever played Indiana, even though they're only a few hundred miles away from each other, South Bend and Bloomington. Unbelievable. So that's the first round. And the winner of that game, the winner of the Indiana-Notre Dame game plays, they play Georgia. They go to Georgia to play Georgia. They'll go to Georgia, but they play in one of the bowl games against Georgia in the second round. So the first round, again, you got Clemson at Texas. You have Tennessee at Ohio State. You got SMU at Penn State, who's got the best draw of anybody. And you have Indiana at Notre Dame. And that's going to be in 2 weeks. Next week is the standalone Army-Navy game. That's the only game you got next Saturday. That's it. And then, of course, the following week is the first round of the playoffs. And I guess the week after that is when they play I guess those games are New Year's Day. I'm not 100% sure about the second round of the playoffs, if it's New Year's Day or not. I'm not sure. But the championship game's not till almost the end of January. So it's been a tremendous season in college football. And unfortunately, Alabama is the last team out. And you could certainly make a case. I thought Alabama was going to get in over SMU. But, and I'll tell you again, if I'm Penn State, I'm doing a damn. If I'm James Franklin and the Penn State Nittany Lions in Happy Valley, they are a happy group, because think about this. they wind up playing SMU in the first round at home instead of Alabama. And I'm sure that they would much prefer playing the SMU Mustangs than playing the Crimson Tide. So the big winner, as far as I'm concerned, in the college football playoff was Penn State. All right. Got a lot of stuff to do today. Check me out in a little while on Jake's show, Jake, the great Jake Osmond show, as we continue to blast our football team and how they found yet another creative way to lose yesterday to Miami. By the way, they've lost 8 straight games to the Dolphins in Miami. Oh, my God. And the Dolphins aren't that good. I mean, come on. Unbelievable. Oh, what a brutal loss that was yesterday. One after the other. I mean, you can't make it up. Anyway, it is what it is. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Enjoy it as we move, completely into the Christmas season now. And again, an early Christmas for Met fans. Juan Soto. Let's say it again. Thank you, Uncle Stevie. Juan Soto is a New York Met. All the love, everybody. God bless America. We're on our way back.